The new year is here, and with that comes a chance to reflect on the years past and look forward to the good things to come this year. But if you're anything like me, then you probably have a few projects from last year that, well, you neglected. Today that changes. We're gonna finally give those projects some love. So I thought it'd be fun to tackle my to-do list and share with you in this video, and hopefully you'll get some ideas for your brewery. But what are we waiting for? Let's get our brewery in top shape and set up for success in 2025. The first thing I need to do is tackle clearing out some gear because I got a lot of great ideas, but if the gear isn't clean, then one, I won't have any space to put the beer in, and two, it'll just stand in the way of making a smooth and easy brew day. So I got a fermenter here that needs some cleaning. It's got some yeast that's been hanging out in it for a few weeks. It's always best to clean as soon as you can, but sometimes we get lazy. Let's just clean it up quickly. Empty it out, and then powder brewery wash, hot water, and a sponge daddy should make easy work of this. This is my absolute favorite sponge, by the way, because it lasts for a long time and it can really get that tough, stuck-on gunk. It's also a good idea to throw in anything that might need a little more time with the PBW. Just let it soak for a couple extra minutes. There we go, nice and clean and rinsed up. I actually have also been holding on to this keg of beer, same story, but this one was a beer that just never turned out quite like I wanted to, and I've been holding on to it. I don't know why, hoping that it would turn better, but it never did. So time to say goodbye, dump it out, clean it, and get it ready for a new beer. Parting is such sweet sorrow. There we go. Everything's looking nice and clean. But I figure while I have all this stainless steel out, I might as well give it a buff and make it look nice and shiny. For that, I'll be using Barkeeper's Friend. It is absolutely the best way to buff your stainless steel. Watch how easily it gets rid of gunk, grime, streaks, and leaves your stainless beautiful and shiny. All you gotta do is pour some Barkeeper's Friend onto a scratch-free sponge, something like the Sponge Daddy, sold separately, and scrub the surface back and forth. Then come through with a moist microfiber cloth and boom! Shiny, shiny.
Warning, excessive polishing may result in stainless so shiny you be tempted to kiss it. Use responsibly. Avoid contact with dyes, and definitely don't make hot with spraying sweet nothings to your fermenter. Side effects may include irrational joy, obsessive scrubbing, and the uncontrollable urge to invite your friends over just to admire your spotless brew gear.
I'm not a sponsor, but available at your big box store. Another area I like to look at are ingredients. Things like old hops, yeast you haven't used in years, and maybe even some miscellaneous grains. Take inventory and toss out anything that might be a little old. For me, I have a lot of hops in my freezer. Some of them I've had for almost 3 years. So it's time I take a look. I know it's gonna be painful, but we wanna be making only the best, freshest beer in the new year. So out with the old and in with the new. Or you can always whip up a hop water. I found that's a great way to use some hops. For grains, you might find that you have a lot of random small amounts of specialty malts or even base malts. If you've gotten them recently and they're unmilled, I'd say organize, weigh, and label them so you know exactly what you got for any upcoming recipes. Anything milled that's just been sitting around, it's time for it to go. With yeast, it's a similar story to the others, but luckily yeast packages have expiration or best by dates. So if you're past that date, either make a starter and build that up for an upcoming beer, or move on and get fresh yeast for the new year. Same for those old jars of yeast that you're saving for some reason. I'm guilty of this one for sure. I think it's safe to say that I can toss this year's old yeast and buy some new. With these other more recent yeast slurries, I can still use as long as I make a starter before the next time I use them. Another option is to make a kitchen sink beer. Not as gross as it sounds, but it's basically using all the random things you got to build a mystery beer. It's definitely a bit of a gamble depending on what kind of grains and hops you have, but it can be a great exercise in improvisation and testing ingredients. Just go for a small 1 gallon experimental batch or something. Don't risk the 5 gallons on some insane 100% roasted malt IPA. Hey, come on in. Hey, Trent, you wanted to see me? Yeah, actually, I wanted to talk to you. You got a minute? Why don't you come in and sit on now? Sure. So, what do you want to talk about? Trent, I think it's time we talked about your equipment. I don't think I understand. Well, I counted 4 fermenters, a couple of which are in the closet outside, not being used.
Well, I was going to use those.
And that doesn't include the 3 glass carboys, which you also have.
Yeah.
I also counted 7 airlocks and twice as many bungs.
I mean, never hurts to have too many bungs.
Looks like you have 3 different kinds of ward chillers
Oh, yeah.
and 2 pumps. Do you really need 2 pumps?
You know, just in case one breaks.
And then there's...
All right. I get it. I got some work to do.
Great. And when you're done with that, I'd love to talk to you about this puppet. As homebrewers, we tend to collect a lot of gear, and I'm sure I'm not alone on this one. But there's no better time like now to fix it. I'm going to start by pulling together all the gear I haven't used in the last 6 months or longer, and anything I have multiples of. Then I'll take some pics and post them on OfferUp or Craigslist. The new year is a great time to post this stuff, since now's the time that people are trying to get into new hobbies or getting back into old ones. This is also a great time to buy new gear, but we're not doing that today. Resist the urge. Just don't expect to get all your money back on this stuff. From my experience, the market for homebrew gear isn't the best. The idea is that we're just trying to purge the stuff from our life and maybe get a few bucks in return. An even better option might be to see if any of your friends or homebrew club members need anything. That way you at least know the equipment's going to a good home. If you do plan to sell, just be patient. Eventually you'll make the sale and clear room for this year's new desirable gear. All right, a few more quick things and then we're done. If you keg your brews, then take a moment to assess the tubings and taps. Maybe take the taps apart for a deep clean and give your lines a good wash with beer cleaner, or even replace them altogether if they're starting to look a bit grody. Do some clean organizing of miscellaneous parts and ingredients. I did a video last year about organizing with 3D printing if you need some ideas on how to utilize space better. And also while organizing, make a list of any ingredients that you might be low on to purchase next time you're at the homebrew shop. And lastly, put everything back into its place and enjoy your hard work with a cold one. So let me know what you do to prep your brewery. Anything that I missed, let me know down below. And I hope that you have a great start to your 2025. I know I got a lot of great things planned for this channel, and we're on the road to 100,000 subscribers. So make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for all the great things to come this year. Cheers, happy brewing.